wanted to finish and ask you, what makes a good founder? I heard some words come out of your mouth earlier, like grit, like curiosity, I think you said. A couple other words. And I know a lot of people watching us are founders, maybe want to be founders, maybe looking for founders to invest in founders. And like you said, in the future, maybe all of us in some way are founders and participants of Web3.
Yeah.
I think you're right. So everyone probably wants to pay attention. And I'm kind of curious for your answer.
Yeah.
But you got more data than most.
Yeah.
And you have a personal interest in a lot of these. Obviously, they live in your houses sometimes.
Yeah.
So what makes a good one?
Yeah, so that's it. And again, I think it is important to say, I think anybody can be a founder. Everyone has the potential to be a founder. There are just certain founders that are better, right? Better in a sense of impact, societal impact, for better or worse, and like investment return as an investor. Now, that doesn't mean you can go and create a really brilliant lifestyle business, never more than a handful of people, and be very purposeful and the world's better for you existing. That won't get venture capital money, So we're kind of much more focused on high growth companies that are focused on, millions, billions of users, customers. So just to kind of preface that. So for that kind of founder, that kind of startup it's very much based on character. So a lot of people will say purpose. Personally, both from my own experience and working with founders, I think purpose comes from being a founder. A lot of people will put the purpose out there ahead of what they're doing to justify what they're doing. But really, I think purpose comes from immersion into solving a problem, which might just start off as an inconvenience and a pain point, but then becomes something bigger, a bigger purpose. I actually think the things that make founders great is, and it's a bit nebulous, but it is that kind of grit. It helps us as a bit of a chip on the shoulder. I've got a huge chip on my shoulder.
Really? It doesn't show that much.
I'm mellowed now.
Okay.
Because I maybe feel like I've proven something to myself and maybe others, but for a long time, and I still have a bit of a one. I'm like, if we're not listed in a certain report, I'm pissed off. We're doing all this stuff and we're not in that fucking report, So I'm still got that chip on my shoulder a little bit. We're in the UK. We're not taken seriously because we're not on the West Coast. Anyway. That's personal gripe, but that chip on the shoulder, I think, carries a lot of weight because it's got something to prove, and so they're okay with like the burden of being a founder. I think that it's somebody that is able. Ideally, they have it out the gate. Wasn't my case. They can develop a sense of humility, so knowing that they need to ask for help. Ask questions more than kind of think that they've got the answer. Very expensive to think you're right. Like decades can be wasted being right, thinking you're right. You can bust a company thinking you're right. So for us, that translates to coachability. So as an accelerator, there's just no point in them joining accelerator if they're not coachable. So by virtue, we get founders with humility because just the act of saying I need an accelerator, I'll be honest with you, I would have never joined an accelerator because I thought I wouldn't want to admit that I didn't know it all to shareholders because I started being a founder very young. And there's the ego involved, and I would have saved myself a lot of pain had I just gone into an accelerator. Not necessarily ours, just anyone. So like humility and I think that goes a long way. And I think there's a new one which has been battle tested in Web3, and I think is going to get even more important as we go into this world that we've just been describing, these exponential technologies converging and compounding, which is, it's kind of the ability to stay focused I think we all feel our attention spans are under attack constantly, just on the phone or media. Most people struggle watching a movie and not ending up messing around with their phone. That's just a base example. You work in Web3, you've got 24/7 markets where just by paying attention to a particular server or Discord channel, Telegram, you could make several million, like 10K. Like some meme coins just popped off and you 10,000x. And if you're not paying attention, you're going to miss it. It's over before it started. So there's this pressure, like aside from what you're building, and as a business, you're in this market where there's millions, tens of millions to be made if you just got the attention. And you can't do that if you're really focused on scaling a business and solving a particular problem well. So the ability to operate in that, not get overwhelmed, stay focused, which is why then the purpose becomes handy, because if you don't really have that purpose or you don't develop that purpose, you're just going to be following the attention, like everyone else's attention. And I think having the maturity to have a balanced life, to be able to be really successful. Again, I think in my 20s, I was my worst enemy. To counter the stress of being a founder, I was burning the candle at both ends, like drinking more than I should, and going and trying to escape from the day-to-day being a founder, which made it harder to be a founder. So some people are blessed. They kind of come with that calm, and they maybe don't have all the peccadillos of others, vices of others. Most people have vices.
Yeah, and the highly successful ones usually do.
Right.
Because they're willing to take risks and push it, which means they do the same in their personal life somehow.
Right. And so it's very hard to be consistently successful without addressing that. So if you're a founder and that's the thing, you might be successful, but you likely will lose it all. It'll take a couple of false starts before you you get your home run. And a lot of that just comes down to personal setup. And there's some basic things to that. Like, it's amazing how many people create a startup, their first startup, when they've just had a baby. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? You're quitting a job, all the security. You've now got another baby. You're going to have no sleep. But people do it all the time. It's right. Weird. I think it's like a life change. They have like a mini crisis.
Right.
So there's just like some basic hygiene things. Like make sure you just got a little bit of cash in the bank. Of course, not everybody has that luxury. But like going into a venture, it's going to be harder. It's going to take longer. You're probably going to almost bankrupt yourself in the process. You're not going to be able to get a mortgage or a loan. Your credit profile is going to go to shit. Having a little bit of money in the bank to know that you're good for 2 months rent, 3 months rent, is just going to make it so much easier.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. Hey, it's Brian Rose, founder of the DeFi Academy. I've told you my 4-week crypto bootcamp is amazing, but don't take my word for it. This is what my students are saying.
The DeFi Academy was an amazing experience for me. It took me totally out of my comfort zone.
In this course, I was challenged, I was held accountable, and pushed to do things that honestly weren't always easy.
It's been phenomenal, and I can't believe we're already up on our 4 weeks. It has flown by.
Going through this DeFi accelerator by far was one of the best courses I've taken.
You do this course, you really get into the nitty-gritty of the activities that will make you comfortable with decentralized finance.
Thank you so much to Brian and everyone at London Real and the DeFi Academy for even putting together an amazing course like this.
Anybody else that wants to do it, please sign up. It is well worth the money.